It's Serpent Ascension League. It's Cinnilyn, Lem, and Rye in the sky. Today, we have some amazing Lunar playoff action. It's our first game of playoffs. We have Kappa Corporation versus Boys Night Out. Lem, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. I'm very excited to see the competition here and these two teams going at it.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead. Before we get into anything, let's go look at our playoff bracket. Rock right in to play to picks and bans. We're back. Look at us, Lem.
All right. I'm excited. Boys Night Out versus Kappa Corp. Of course, I am also playing for this Boys Night Out organization for a different league, the Babylon Smite League. But, I hate to show any level of bias, but I'm excited to see how these boys are going to play tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Boys Night Out taking first pick, right? We have Germania, Shaman, Red Rosie Panda, Darth Dumbledore, Feisty for them. On the other side of Kappa Corp, we have Storm Koopa, Johnny Navy, Sparky, I'm New and Learning, and Gur Bears rounding out the ADC role. Someone that I have my eyes on for both teams are their junglers. That's definitely going to be the tale of the lifetime. Shaman and Johnny Navy, two players who I've had my eyes on since the start of the season. I'm excited to see where they go. But as we're rolling into P's and B's, Lem, what do you think should be prioritized here in these bans?
If the junglers are the strong players we're looking at, I expect to see gods like Thor looked at as a potential ban. There's a lot of strong junglers in this meta. Are there any bans off the table just right off the bat? Or
Yes. So we do have ban content. It is your very traditional ones you're used to for a lot of the comp system. Aladdin, Atlas, Bastet, the Morgan. And then for our aspects, we have Alpwash, CERN, and Chiron. There are some other things that could happen, gods and goddesses that have been warned, but after all, that's all right. So we only have a few to worry about, but these bans rolling through: Daji, Horus, Alpwash, all things that I'm not surprised about. They've been very much meta threats.
yeah, absolutely. Daji and now Kali banned as well. Those are two top junglers. And I expect to see Thor looked at as a ban or potentially a first pick. There's a lot of good junglers, though. You've got Hunbats with the aspect. You've got plenty of options there. So as we wait for the Boys Night Out to pick their third ban, let's look at this Horus. That's a god that has been running in several roles. I'm very happy to see that off the table. You don't want the enemy team to first pick that by any means.
The newest comp legal god that we allow, Horus, been plaguing this support role. We haven't seen aspect of the Falcon all too often. It's been non-aspect. But Morgan Le Fay being picked up, I assume.
Morgan Le Fay is a strong first pick. Or is it a ban? We're yet to be determined. But either way, very very prevalent pick in this meta, good in the mid lane, often
Mhm.
even seen in solo and sometimes support, because she just brings so much CC to the table, she can flex over into multiple roles. The aspect has seen a nerf recently, but it is quite strong. And we will see them take out the Thor. Looks like Kappa Corp does not want to deal with that global ult or the range stun. None of it.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Thor is something that I've seen very prevalent, not only in both Lunar and Solar, but in other leagues. We go up to Smite Prime all the way down to Enkidu and BSL. So I definitely really like this, and Kerberos being banned as well. I I think those are two good bans, but Merlin and Tsukiyomi being locked in response.
Yeah, Tsukiyomi is actually a strong pick into the Morgan Le Fay because his displacement immune is too. So if she tries to knock him back, he can avoid that. And they will take Discordia and Bacchus as well. A really strong core coming out from Boys Night Out.
Yes, it makes you think that it's going to be a Morgan Le Fay solo aspect of the Cursed Crown. You mentioned pulling in some nerfs, but that doesn't seem to slow it down, even with the nerfs down to its survivability. What exactly makes it strong?
Morgan Le Fay is just an extremely safe pick because with that fully charged ultimate, you get 3 CC immune dashes, makes her incredibly hard to gank. And even without that ult, like I said before, she's got so much CC that she can really peel off herself or her teammates. Very strong as a frontliner.
Yeah, Hua Mulan and Medusa being locked in as well for this Kappa Corporation team. Hua Mulan is something that I have seen Storm Koopa go to quite often. Medusa also something that Gerberis has played quite a few times, but this Donzaburo being hovered is very interesting and is
Oh, I
something that I
like
have
it.
seen. I adore it. And not only is it, I think, a really good pick here, but it's also one of Feisty's best gods, something that I've seen him pull out time and time again in playoff situations.
Yeah, great drafts from both teams here. I love the Donzaburo in dive comps, and with
Mhm.
the Fenrir, Bacchus, and Morgan Le Fay, Donzaburo is going to be able to get in there with the rest of them and put on a show. Kabrakan, last pick for Kappa Corp, almost certainly going into support, I would imagine, which he's strong in multiple roles, but in support, he brings that wall, 2 stuns
Mhm.
as well. So definitely a strong duo with the Kabrakan and Medusa.
Yeah, a lot of fight pressure. As we see, we're going to see improve this fight pressure as we're in game number 1. It's Cinnilyn, Lem on the mics, and we got Rye in the sky. We're getting into this. Anything you're looking at, Lem?
This matchup in the jungle, Fenrir versus Tsukiyomi, is an interesting one because it really can go either way. Tsukiyomi doesn't have any immediate way to stop the brutalize. Of course, he does have a stun, but by the time you get the animation of your 2 off, Fenrir's already done a whole lot of damage to you, and Fenrir did actually see a buff to his 3 this patch. So I'm very interested to see how Shaman is going to perform on this pick. Obviously, he brings a lot of early pressure, which is valuable in this meta. So if I had to give the edge early game, it would definitely go to Boys Night Out. But Kappa Corp's comp, is extremely strong late game. Their scaling potential is incredible, and we already are seeing an interesting play here towards this blue buff. Potentially looking
Yeah,
for a cheeky pick.
cheeky pick. I like it. Mulan has to worry about it. Shaman calling it
Uh-oh.
on. Storm Koopa. There's the brutalized Germania not wanting to commit to it. Spelling out the Tsukiyomi rotate. Looks like just gonna get them to back off. A little bit of poke on the Storm Koopa, and that's all.
Yeah, and that's fine. Just exchanging poke, just scaring him. Maybe now Tsukiyomi's worried. He's over there still trying to wonder if he needs to guard this buff. But Kappa Corp, or sorry, Boys Night Out, backing up, gonna just play standard and go back to their own buffs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, no surprise. I really like that. Shaman able to recognize that really can't continue that fight, especially with Sadie Reki going on in. Whoa, these buffs, feisty on this Danzaburo, able to clear fast. Everything's going well. And something that's interesting are these support starters, right? We have been oftentimes seeing a lot of bluestone. We've even seen some conduit on some characters, sundering axe. Both of these supports, though, Darth Dumbledore and I'm new and learning, opting for selflessness and war flag.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. We do see a lot of aggressive starters coming out of supports in this meta. Like even conduit gems sometimes, like you mentioned, the bluestone, damage-oriented starters that can help to clear and maybe scale to a late game bruisery playstyle. But both of them opting for a traditional support starter, which is you don't see that a whole lot. Big lead picked up here.
Yeah. Ooh, Storm Koopa falling down. Germania just offering a lot of poke damage with this Morgan Le Fay.
He managed to clear the wave ahead of time, got to level 2 before the Mulan could clear the wave, and was able to catch the Mulan back out as she rotated back for the wave. Now, looks like the duo lane is just exchanging neutrals. We'll see if they go for a fight here. Looks like they want to.
Yeah, Feisty coming forward. There is the money bags. Beads forced from Medusa. I'm new and learning has to be careful. There's the seismic crush going well. Darth Dumbledore not hitting the up, down, and Belch of the Gods. Not going to make any impact. Both teams just run away.
Looks like in mid lane, the Boys Night Out picked up Oracles, and Kappa Corp will take the other mid camp. So a lot of, aside from that kill in solo, both teams going pretty even across the map. And we'll see which team is going to take the lead early. Like I said, if I had to guess, it will probably be Boys Night Out. Their composite just has a slight edge, as Fenrir is potentially looking for a duo gank over here.
Yes, seem to be warded. Kappa Corp not stepping out. Gerber is looking forward, but I'm new and learning, sniffing it out. There's the leap, not finding anything. Brutalize away. Seismic crush onto Bacchus. Dumbledore. A little walk away. Feisty, feeling out of support.
Yeah, and that's totally fine for the Fenrir to just show face, put a little bit of pressure. He has a back camp available, but there's not that much farm on the map, so showing up there and letting the enemy team know, don't push up, or you might have to worry about getting jumped on by a Fenrir. Even if you gank and don't get a kill, sometimes just applying that pressure and making the enemy team aware of your presence can change the game.
Yeah, Rosie on the pressure of some poke, but Germania getting another kill on Storm Koopa. A 2-0 start for this Morgan Le Fay.
And Morgan Le Fay is absolutely a threat with the lead. That's going to be really hard for the enemy team to shut down. Like we mentioned, the safety with the ult, as they're potentially going for another fight over these rocks. But they've already picked it up, and will back away. Yeah, Morgan Le Fay with a 2-0 lead is extremely scary. Talk to me about how they could potentially bring this Mulan back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? Storm Koopa, Mulan, not necessarily known for scaling, but her 3, right? Fires an arrow, pulls you back in, and that is at the crux of a lot of fights, especially in a Mulan comp. You have Zaddy, you have Sparky, who can just kind of take pleasure in seeing, okay, well, this guy's going to get plucked, and we're going to burn him down real fast.
Tsukiyomi heading over here to potentially look for a play just like that to maybe see if he can give his solo laner some leeway, and sees that the Morgan Le Fay is just farming, playing safe, so backs up to the red buff. Both teams kind of just chilling at the moment. Solo lane, the only place we've seen any action.
Yeah, I certainly like it. Darth Dumbledore, Belch of the Gods being used. 4 minutes in, Brock's already prioed, taken, dropped down. It's 2-0 and 1,000 and some change for Boys Night Out. Time for me to ask you a question, Lem. If you're Kappa Corp, right, we've talked about how to get this Mulan back into the game. Is there any other avenues for Kappa Corp to kind of enter back into this game just as a team and take over this lead?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if I'm the jungler, I'm probably letting my solo laner know, hey, you are just going to have to relax over there and figure it out for the time being, because they've got neutral camps to contest. They've got 2 other lanes to potentially play through, as we got a fight happening on the Oracles.
Yeah, Piercing Moonlight coming through, Brutalize. Not up for Shaman just yet, but the leap is there, Unchained. But Sparky is here, providing the Dragon's Fire Radiate. Not finding the kill, Strife going forward into Void Stance. Rosie level 7, Sparky level 6. But they're just going to walk away from each other, play a ring around the Rosie. But the Panda is the wiser. They're going to leave, and it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before a fight broke out over these neutral camps. Both junglers looking to get feisty, attacking each other, as even duo lane's getting a bit feisty now.
Yeah, Feisty looking to get a bit angrier. There's the crush, uproarish rocket coming through. I'm new and learning, just taking a tiny bit of poke, a little bit more. Belch of the Gods coming through. Good hit on Gerbears. You have to be careful. Boys Night Out. Not finding any kills there, but a good amount of poke, forcing the laners to back as we're here in this solo lane once again. Shaman trying to get his Solo laner ahead. Storm Koopa able to use Mastery Training to get out. Maybe not yet. No, Germania not able to find anything. Storm Koopa survives the gank.
I respect that play by Shaman. Heading over here to the already winning lane, grabs the rocks and tries to pressure out the Milan, forces the ult, which will open up potentially kill potential for Germania. Has already managed to take down Storm Koopa twice now, and with that ult down, could be looking for another.
No mana. Stun is low, finds none. Rosie just being allowed to back on lower HP than she'd like.
Now, like you were mentioning, Kappa Corp does have a couple avenues to potentially come back into this game, because if your solo laner's down, you've still got mid, you've still got duo, and in fact, those are usually what are more important in the first 15, 20 minutes of the match. Tempo comes from objectives and neutral camps, and there's not a whole lot. You've got rocks on solo side, but on the other side of the map, you've got buff camps, you've got Gold Fury. Pyro doesn't spawn until much later in the game, so I expect the junglers to look to play around duo side for the time being. We've seen a little bit of brawling over there. And Fenrir has actually a pretty good matchup into the enemy duo lane. Of course, Kabrakan can stun him out of his Brutalize, but Medusa herself doesn't have much of a way to prevent him from doing what he wants. So she does have the beads available. Maybe if Danzaburo can get in with the Fenrir, can potentially make something happen.
Yeah. Beads being out by Shaman. Strife and Unruly Magic coming through. No Golden Apple yet, but it finds its mark. Rosie takes up the first kill of the game for hers. Piercing Moonlight onto Shaman, but the good Shuriken finding him. Mid lane fight, looking for a tiny bit more. The mid and the support versus the jungler and the mid laner. Bunch of the gods, Strife, Kappa Corp. Not wanting more of this fight. Just going to be happy to poke and take their one kill.
Yeah, and this beacon has seen a couple changes recently. As another fight is potentially breaking out.
Yeah, they want it more. Radiate coming through, burning down the Bacchus. Darth Dumbledore has to escape, and so low, 37 HP. Germania picking up a cross-map kill on Storm Koopa. Boys Night Out looking in a great position. Beads forced by Zaddy, but the uproarious rocket finding its mark on Bears. Feisty takes the solo.
Those side laners from Boys Night Out here showing up and putting down their lane opponents. That's going to be really hard for Kappa Corp to deal with, because when you've got, they had a decent fight in the mid going on there, but on both sides of the map now, you've got Mulan falling and the Medusa as well. So it's going to be really hard to find an avenue to bounce back.
Yeah, Shaman in a rock and a hard place, but Dumbledore able to use the flop to get him out. Boys Night Out not doing much. Rosie looking for the flank. Germania present. Storm Koopa, though, gets the kill on Shaman. Intoxicate comes through. Sergeant Sparky is low, and so is Zaddy. Storm Koopa gets the double, and here we go. Germania focusing on I'm new and learning. Bringing him down. Strife is enough. Yes, Unruly Magic claims it. But there's the Piercing Moonlight. Aegis being forced. Zaddy Reki, he's going forward. Storm Koopa wants the kill. Germania finds one on Zaddy. Storm Koopa trying to find another. Not able to find one on Rosie. Germania able to walk away all clean. It's a 2 for 2.
Morgan Le Fay is 4-0 at 10 minutes in the game. This is going to be a problem if you are Kappa Corp. I don't think they're going to be able to ignore it much longer. But Mulan looking for a play of her own.
Yeah, Storm Koopa realizing that he needs to make something happen. Training mastery coming through, but not able to do it. Aegis coming true. And there's the clone. But Germania and Storm Koopa escaping at low HP.
That was really close. That could have been a really good kill. Just off the mark with the final hit of the Mulan ult. But Mulan was actually able to pick up 2 kills in that previous fight, which is huge when you're behind. You get an extra bounty when you're at a level deficit. So those 2 kills are going to help bring Koopa back into the game and could potentially help fight back on the solo side of the map. Now, we're seeing a potential purple invade over in duo. Tsukiyomi looks like he spotted it, but Shaman already on the run. And that's what I want to see from this Fenrir. Looking to play for... Danzaburo's already winning his lane. He's won the 1v1. He's getting most of the neutral camps. Fenrir should try to facilitate these winning lanes and play aggressive around his where they have a lead.
Yeah, playing aggressive everywhere is Shaman. Zadireki on 1 HP, but the Unchained, the Howl, the Leap, Shaman finds the kill, but he's stuck between two. Seismic Crush, Beads and Brutalize, the double B, and there's the apple, bounces, just barely doesn't find Sparky.
A good solo kill from Shaman there. Finds Tsukiyomi, and that's what I was talking about with this matchup. I would say late game, Tsukiyomi does have the edge just because he has a little bit more raw damage output. But early game, Fenrir can absolutely shut that Tsukiyomi out.
Yeah, Rosie looking for something. A good bit of damage coming out. Darth Dumbledore is low, radiating Dragon's Fire, burning down the Goddess of Strife, but Rosie able to walk away, and it's going to be none for Capricorn.
Yeah, we've got a lot of vision down on the map, which is something I love to see. You know, you don't want to get caught off guard by these junglers sneaking around. Supports, it's important to know where they're rotating as well. We haven't seen any groupings around Gold Fury, but as Boys Night Out continue to build their lead, I expect if they get a couple of picks, they may eventually try to force that.
Yeah, Gold Fury not being pulled, interesting, but I like it from Boys Night Out. Identifying that they have not much secure, right? And not necessarily confident in the idea of a Stripe or Unruly Magic claiming it when Gerber's Loons with that Petrify just can turn their chances of a Gold Fury to stone. But Boys Night Out now, confident, feisty, 2 items. I mean, this poll's looking good.
Yeah, here we go. And the enemy team has sniffed it out. Medusa lurking around the corner. Merlin and Tsukiyomi rotating in as well. It's already dropped to half.
Droris Rocket, but Petrify, Intoxicate, Ultimates being traded. And there's the Golden Apple of Discord, but the Piercing Moonlight on 1. Rosie falls with a shutdown for Zadireki. People are low, but Shaman on the back end, he's coming in, tearing through the bite. Shaman puts him in the jaws, but I'm new in learning. Kills Feisty, trying to get back up. There's the Blink Seismic Crush being threatened, but Shaman taking the better of it, though. He's looking for this fight. There's the Omen Drum, a little bit of crits falling through Germania. Now on the mid laner, Sparky coming through. No, a rampage is Germania. Shaman having to run away, whimpering, but still going strong. 3-3, 13-6. Boys Night Out in the lead, but no Gold Fury.
That was a great flank by the Fenrir to get in behind the Tsukiyomi after he ulted. Was able to shut down the Discordia, which is extremely important. Getting a shutdown on the mid laner is going to be essential to their success. The solo laner rotated over, but in the meantime, Storm Koopa taking all this free farm, gets the tower as well, and no Gold Fury was dropped. So I would say that's a pretty good play by Capricorn.
Yeah, Germania remaining in this left lane, stealing out poor Gerber's purple. Walking away, though, no remorse, has Germania. But Capricorn still in this, posturing aggressively. And I really, really like this, right? A lot of the times we see teams tend to go very passive when they get down right in this 2K, 3K range. But Capricorn not playing passively, but Big Zadireki falling in the middle of 3. And there's Golden Apple of Discord. It's off the mark. Boys Night Out capitalize off of the aggressiveness of Capricorn.
I love this play by Germania to just accept that you have your lead. It's time to rotate around the map and force plays. They've been out of the solo lane for multiple minutes, and now Mulan finally realizing it's time to show up to this fight. I need to help out the team.
Yeah, Dragon's Fire coming through the clone, providing a lot of damage. But training archery missing. Gerber's looking to shut down this Medusa, dashing in. Seismic crushed the walls, everything being used. It might not be enough to shut her down. No, Storm Koopa gets the shutdown on the lane counterpart, but that was all in cost of a Gold Fury.
I'm going to be honest, not a terrible trade. That Morgan Le Fay was huge. You need to shut that player down, and if you have to trade an objective out for it, it might not be the best case scenario, but it absolutely could be worse. At least you got the kill, because, like I said, that shutdown bounty gonna come in pretty huge. I'm not sure who actually picked up the kill there, but either way, very valuable for Capricorn to take down Germania with that 5-0 lead.
Yeah, 5-1 is now the Morgan Le Fay, but it doesn't dissuade Boys Night Out's lead. 42,000 to 39,000, 14-17 in this pivotal game 1 for Boys Night Out.
Looking now to group around this Naga as well. I love the play from Boys Night Out, recognizing that they have a lead. They're looking to pressure objectives. This is exactly what you want to see from the team when they're ahead here. Now it's going to be interesting how Kappa Corp tries to respond. Looks like they're actually bringing their ADC over. Medusa teleporting in to this Naga fight.
Really like this. Mastery going gold is Storm Kuba. Piercing Moonlight coming through. And Rosie, she's getting shredded down. Daddy Reki going for more. Shaman is low. I'm new and learning. Picks up Darth Dumbledore. But the strife is true. Zaddy Reki picks up Rosie. Germania and Feisty looking to clean up Kappa Corp. Germania gets one. Feisty gets another. Shaman is back on Gerbears. He claims one. But I'm new and learning. Shuts down Feisty. A double. A double. Boys Night Out coming in forward. I'm new and learning is low, but there's the Ragnarok, and it's not going to be enough. Shaman with the double once again.
It's going to be a deicide for Boys Night Out. 2 of them remaining. They'll be able to take out this Naga. You know, that's not the worst trade in the world. You definitely don't love to lose the objective, but you did manage to pick up 3 kills. And so they're still going to have a lot of leeway in this game. Plenty of smite left to be played. You've got to look at the late game now, because you're too far behind to really look for any objectives of your own. You just got to play reactively, try to defend where you can, force out relics, and play for this Tsukiyomi and Merlin to come online, because if they do, the Boys Night Out are going to have a hard time sieging. You know, I'm interested to see how they're going to further their lead and engage, potentially looking towards Pyromancer, Fire Giant coming up soon as well. And as we transition into this mid game, a 4K lead is pretty significant, but like I said, there's plenty of play left.
Yeah, certainly 17 minutes, although a lot of times can seem pretty long in terms of this early game. In the late game, it could just mean there's another 30, another 13 minutes back, but Boys Night Out and some interesting hovers by Riot. I really like it. Regrowth Shriders being picked up. Not something we see very often. When it first released was mainstay on Bacchus, but not anymore. But Rosie looking to not be a mainstay in mid. She's trying to keep that position, able to live, and I like that for her. It's going well. Sigil Mastery, Germania, ever present, but Zaddy Reki's on this backline and piercing Moonlight coming through. Apple doesn't find its mark, but she's on 1 HP.
Oh no.
And Zaddy Reki can't get it. No, not like this. Unruly magic. Darth Dumbledore gets the kill. 72 and counting. Shaman on a killing spree against Sparky. Throws I'm new and learning in the tower. Dumbledore with the double.
You hate to see it, and the ADC from Kappa Corp rotated to try and help out that fight. Don Zaburo free farming in the meantime, and they win in a 4v5 engagement. That's absolutely devastating if you're Kappa Corp. 1 HP, the bane of every jungler's existence. Tsukiyomi going for a smart dive. If he's able to take that 1v1, would have been great for the cause, but unfortunately was just off the mark, and Red Rosie Panda able to escape. All 5 members of Boys Night Out still alive. They picked up the Pyromancer and potentially looking towards gold next as well.
Yeah, a very strong position Boys Night Out is getting the Pyromancer now, walking over to this gold, but Feisty saying, oh, I need to catch my wave. It's being pushed. I mean, wards, everything, and Dumbledore still wanting it, warding out. I like this from Feisty, making sure that there isn't a possible chance of a steal, but no, Gold Fury not in their sights. They're figuring they better get their items, come back even stronger.
And that's a perfect play. You can play as slow as you want if you're the Boys Night Out. You have all of the agency in the world to decide when you want to take these objectives. You mentioned the regrowth Striders for Bacchus. I actually love it. I think utility-based items are extremely valuable in support, and that move speed, as well as a little bit of cooldown, gonna help him get what he needs done in the fights, make sure he's where he needs to be, and it's not a common pickup, but I definitely love this decision from Darth Dumbledore.
Yeah, I really like Boys Night Out. Honestly, a few uncommon decisions, right? Germania, a more classic build that we're used to seeing on this Morgan Le Fay. I mean, Uproarious Rocket. And there's Ragnarok being used, sticking the Kabrakan right where he stands, Golden Apple. And the god who created the canyons, able to just walk away as he once was. But Gold 3 being burnt down. Germania now in the mid lane. Boys Night Out claim their second Gold Fury. In this Germania, right? We've been talking about him. Talk of the town, honestly. Mitigations, protections. He's not dying. But someone on his team that is making people die is Shaman. Fenrir getting a buff to this Brutalize. I think it's really interesting. Shaman choosing to utilize it, especially so with this crit build.
Yeah, crit Fenrir can be a menace. If you get onto the backliners, you can absolutely still one-shot them with that Brutalize. Is able to crit and smite too. That was a nice +1 that they gave him coming into the game. And they're actually looking to pull Fire Giant. This is a good play, but they're going to have to do it correctly.
Yeah, Dumbledore too low. Fire Giant not being burnt fast enough, especially with Shaman not there. Unruly Magic. But the Seismic Crush able to get the burp out. Banging together. And there's Tremble coming through. Tremors. Good for a second. But Boys Night Out. Not dissuaded. Zaddy. Now in the mid lane, it's a 4v5. And Shaman just looking to get the totem. I like this. Boys Night Out taking it slow.
Yeah, and taking it slow is definitely the play. You've got a level 18 ADC and a level 18 Morgan Le Fay. The enemy team is not going to be looking to pull these objectives. You have all the tempo in the world. Just get vision down, potentially look for a pick, force ultimates, force relics, anything you can do to make the objective easier on yourself so that you don't coin flip it. You do not want to throw Fire Giant when you have this big of a lead. That's how games are lost.
Yeah, a good bit of damage. Strife getting through. Sigil Mastery even better. Golden Apple on him, new and learning. And he's going to come through, and there's that Ragnarok shoving him in the tier 1. He's going to fall down. Germania going low, not quite yet. No, Shaman finds I'm new and learning. And there's the aspect of the Cursed Crown, that ultimate coming through, as you said. CC Immune dashes, paying in overtime. Storm Koopa falls. And Kappa Corp looking pretty, well, looking not so good for them. But Boys Night Out, they're profiting and they're having a good time.
Yeah, they expended quite a few resources, and they are a little bit poked out, but I don't think Kappa Corp's going to be looking to defend this. The ADC is still pushing over and left. Tsukiyomi farming the map as well. Merlin potentially looking for cheeky steal, but Shaman sniffs it out.
Yeah, and the blink not coming through. Stance switch finding nothing. Radiate, although burning the dog down. Shaman able to live, and Darth Dumbledore on a killing spree.
And Feisty with these clones is able to just keep tanking and continue pulling the Fire Giant while his team shuts out the Merlin, makes sure there's no potential of a steal. Now this is going to be a clean Fire Giant. Maybe losing the tier 2 and left if Medusa's taking it down quick enough. But we have a rotation from Tsukiyomi as well. It's going to be a 2v1 over here.
Piercing Moonlight and Petrify both being used. Fire Giant on Boys Night Out. Currently on 5, but that's not going to be for long. Shut down for Bears and make that Fire Giant on 4.
Yeah, and that's actually not the end of the world if you're Kappa Corp. You've got, they've pretty steadily kept this 5-6k deficit for the past 5 or so minutes, and it's not extended aside from that Fire Giant buff. Getting a tier 2 tower and the shutdown on Fenrir as well is about as much as you could hope for in trade for that Fire Giant.
Yeah, 26-11, 6k gold lead for Boys Night Out. They've been in control of this game since minute 1 off of the back of Germania. But don't let that fool you. The rest of Boys Night Out have been picking up everything else, and Germania is not the only part of this league.
Yeah, this 7-1 solo laner is certainly a major threat. The dive coming out from Boys Night Out is going to be really hard to stop. Merlin picking up a second relic, gets the blink of his own so that he can potentially evade these. But how can you into Morgan Le Fay, Bacchus, Fenrir, and the Danzaburo ult? It's going to be a really hard task for Kabrakan to peel his backline. You almost have to wonder if at some point they're going to try and just all in their own dive so that they can maybe... If I'm Kappa Corp, I'm looking for a sneaky play. Maybe we hide in a bush, we get some vision down, we look for a pick, because at the moment, you don't have a whole lot of play elsewhere.
Yeah, Zaddy Rec poking out. I do agree. Kappa Corp. I mean, there's a theory. I mean, if you are getting if you're getting dove, I mean, they can't dive you if you're diving. But Shaman, not proving that to be true. Just diving, I'm new and learning, despite the fact that he was in, but a good bit of defense. Feisty coming through at the cost of Darth Dumbledore, but Storm Koopa has to make his way out. There's the leap, everything coming through. Zaddy Reki now trying to get out of there. Feisty with the double. It's a killing spree for the Tanuki. but in goes Shaman. He's tearing through everyone. Damage, oh, plenty, but piercing moonlight on Shaman. But Zadireki's going to be brought in. Germania now on a killing spree of his own. And Boys Night Out trading a 2 for 3.
Yeah, the 2 for 3 is not the end of the world. Looks like they are going to try and push down this tier 2 tower. And if not, if they decide to back up here, there's plenty of other objectives on the map. They can take the mid beacon, Pyromancer, gold's pretty free as well. Whatever they decide to go with, they're going to keep extending this lead. But Kappa Corp is slowly but surely approaching that late game. Tsukiyomi building into either Titan's Bane or Heartseeker. Merlin going to be approaching that starter and this 5th item as well. The Phoenix defense is where a lot of games are thrown because, dives get overzealous. People maybe don't pay attention to their backliners and they tunnel vision. ADCs sometimes target the wrong thing. So that's what I'd be playing for if I'm Kappa Corp. We still have 3 tier 2 towers. The enemy team might have a significant lead, but our Titan's not dead yet. So we just need to play for defense, look for picks, and anything we can get. A 2 for 3 is absolutely acceptable in this situation.
Yeah, in that lead, right? Boys Night Out lead. What you want in a fire giant very often is their lead to get bigger and bigger. And it went from just about 6K now to 8K, right? 7.5. So it definitely grew. But over the course of an entire fire giant, as we're getting down, Gold Fury in the sights, growth this much is not exactly what you'd want to see.
Yeah, this Ancient Fury is definitely a huge pickup for Boys Night Out. Not only is it going to weaken all 3 of the tier 2 towers from Kappa Corp, but it is their 3rd Gold Fury, which is going to give them extra bonus damage on objectives, going to help them on their next siege. I like the call to not overcommit onto any towers, not looking for a siege, and just extending their lead, playing for maybe the next Fire Giant. Let's get some wards down, keep the pressure up, and we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, truly. Now, 8K for the Boys Night Out, and I do like this, right? Going from 6 to 8K over the course of a Fire Giant. It could have been better, right? Boys Night Out in a perfect world could have gotten 3 towers, the Gold Fury, Pyromancer, and whatever else they wanted. But unfortunately, we are in magical world, and we're in a game called Smite. So, Kappa Corp mounting a really, really good defense. Right, Boys Night Out responding, the lead being stretched ever so slightly. How can Kappa Corp replicate that defense? But they're already trying to, and this pick on Zadireki, I'm having a feeling that was a start.
That's huge. Shaman got a bit greedy there, looked for an invade onto the blue, did secure it looks like, and almost takes down Mulan, but Big Zadireki coming to the rescue, puts down Shaman, and that's a huge pick to kind of take the battery out of Boys Night Out's momentum. Are they pulling fire?
Think they are. Currently a 4v4 on map, but Boys Night Out not exactly the wiser. Now, able to find out. They still have the lead in items, but Uproarious Rocket on Zadireki, and there's the beads coming through, but he gets blown up, blown to shreds. Is the jungler Germania now in there? Sparky not finding anything, but here comes Storm Koopa. The damage is true, but he's getting burnt down. No help. Everyone being zoned. Boys Night Out. Although you pick one, they come in kind and take 2.
I love the ambition from Kappa Corp. They got a pick. They said, go. Pull fire. We've got Merlin. Our Medusa has got plenty of items, got the starter online. We're looking to shred fire. If they were to get it there, that would have been incredible, as Boys Night Out potentially looking for a fight around it themselves.
Yeah, Germania's lows. Strike off the mark. Gerbert's looking to dash in. And there's the ultimate but feisty with a double kill. Low on HP. It's just Sparky. Everyone's just a tiny bit too low to continue that FG.
They won the fight. They're going to take the Pyromancer as a consolation prize while their ADC resets. The Runic Bomb, obviously a really great objective secure. You mentioned earlier that they don't, in their comp, they don't have a great burst ultimate to secure these objectives. So the Runic Bomb is going to be a really good pickup. They've still got picks for, the better part of 30 seconds. I expect them to, if not pull immediately, get a bunch of vision down and set up around fire as quickly as possible. Now, if you're Kappa Corp, you got a good pick there. So there's fight potential. You're having good back and forth brawls. You're able to get a couple kills. Who do you look at on Boys Night Out as maybe an easy pick or if not an easy pick, the best option to take down?
Well, there's a few options, right? Zadireki being taken down once for Zadireki taking down Shaman once before, so Kappa Corp can make this defense. I mean, they proved it already. Just need a little bit more cohesiveness. Boys Night Out, though. Vision wins games, and they're picking up some, placing it all around. That fire giant pit is lit up like a Christmas tree. And Zadireki able to pull out everything. It's a 5v5 in this late game. Gold to 9K, just under. Boys Night Out in the lead, 33-14. And Boys Night Out, they're in a commanding lead. Oof, Jesus. Feisty, just getting so much poke onto this fire giant, forcing Kappa Corp to walk forward.
Yeah, those clones do a ton of DPS. Looks like Kabrakan's sneaking around to the backline, gets a nice stun, starts the fight off.
Training exercises are looking good. Piercing Moonlight looking even better. Zadireki claims one. Shaman looking for another. Uproarious Rocket. Sharky gets another. Brutalized. Not here. Ragnarok instead. Zadireki's low.
Oh my goodness.
Shaman, you have to be careful, but he's ripping
Whoa.
carrying a triple kill for the dog in Germania. Low on HP. Germania going crazy. And Sparky having to dash away. But Shaman looking for more. He's getting everything. Could it be? He's chasing after the Kabrakan. No stuns, just barely. Up, down. There's another. A delayed quadra for the jungler of Boys Night.
That was almost a disaster for VNO, but Shaman coming up big, takes down 3, and another on the back end as well. A great engage by I'm New and Learning to get that fight started. It got hectic when he snuck up into the backline, so I expect to see more of those plays where Kappa Corp just go for this all-in engage, try and scatter the enemy forces, make it as big of a cluster as you can so that everyone's confused, nobody knows who they're supposed to be targeting or who they're supposed to be feeling for, and when carries tunnel vision and the enemy dive is diving them, it can be really hard to do your job as a support. So great play by the Kabrakan there to get involved and make it happen.
He's not even punished. Coming up in 5. No one's set up around this EFG, and you may be wondering, wow, why did my favorite fire monster suddenly turn purple? Well, that's him getting enhanced. I don't really know what that entails, but I do know what it can give you if you kill him. Now, he does give an extra bit of power, and more importantly, though, that regen is more powerful. Helps you close out games as we reach this 33-minute mark, almost 34. Boys Night Out, though, just looking to retake this Pyromancer. Kappa Corp, they're trying to catch on. Oracle's being done, but I have a feeling that this is going to be shredded down before they even care. It's caught. Now there's a piercing Moonlight. Not catching any, though, and I think that's for the better.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It's a good thing that Tsukiyomi did not hit any targets there because he would have been almost certainly dead in the middle of the whole enemy team. Kappa Corp looking for an ambitious pull. They took the Pyromancer and are now shredding this Fire Giant. It's already half.
Uproarious Rocket and Apple looked good. Germania draining the enemy team. But here's Boys Night Out. The cavalry is here. Dragon's Fire coming through, but leaping over it is Darth Dumbledore. Sigil Mastery, everything going well. Germania, you're a bit too deep. But it's not deep enough for this Boys Night Out team chasing them to their Titan room. A flop and Darth Dumbledore. Feisty gets another, and I'm New and Learning. And that pick just might be what they needed to take this EFG.
Yep, they've got a 5v3 situation. Enhanced is definitely on the menu. And you mentioned the increase in... Wow, they're actually looking for the bird. They've got a wave here. They've got 5 people. This is definitely going to be this is a good call.
Yeah, Gerbert's falling down to Shaman. He's on a rampage. He's looking for another. Sparky, you have to be careful. There's the upgraded Bink, though. No, that was Storm Koopa. Sparky on the other side, defending it. Boys Night Out looking for the end. They're feeling confident, but there's a Merlin on the other side. You have to be careful. Shaman falls down to Sparky. We're going up. Damage on Boys Night Out. The cooldowns might not be enough, but Merlin goes in. He's burning down. Storm Koopa finds one. 400 HP. No, Boys Night Out takes game number 1.
Wow, a great play to siege down the right bird and turn it into an end. That was actually phenomenal by Boys Night Out. I'm impressed. I expected to see them take the bird, back up to Enhanced Fire Giant, and look to sweep the map from there, but taking down the Titan, that was a really well executed end call.
We're seeing post game stats. Unfortunately, a little bit small, but still read them. You know, just have to zoom in a tiny bit. It's okay. Technical issues do happen. Germania coming up large in that game, and I really, really do like it. Shaman, though, late game definitely took over and was the talk of the town. Sparky, though, had a good few moments.
Yeah, you mentioned that both junglers were going to be a focal point of this match. Shaman coming up big as well. 12 kills on this Fenrir. A pretty dominant performance. 11 for the Danzaburo as well. We're seeing a lot of aggression out of the draft from this BNO. Now, as we look towards game 2, are there vault bans? My memory escapes me.
Yes, there is. Vault bans will be in effect. So these gods unable to be played next game.
That's cool. Yeah, and that means that we're going to have to look towards potentially different picks. We saw a lot of junglers banned last match. 2 more junglers now going to be off the table. And if I'm BNO, I want to draft a very similar strategy. We won early game with the early game comp. We built a lead, we forced objectives, and we were able to convert it into a win. So I expect BNO to go for a similar draft style where they're looking for early game pressure, and maybe the other team needs to respond by drafting some pressure of their own.
Yes, certainly. Although we'll have to see in this game number 2. Boys Night Out coming up large with a win, but it's not over. Stay where you are. Maybe take a little bit of a break, but don't go anywhere, and certainly come back here. We'll see you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Serpent's Ascension League. It's Cinnilyn and Lem. How you doing after game one, Lem?
That was an exciting game. A pretty front to back dominant performance from Boys Night Out. I'm hoping to see them fight back in game two, the Kappa Corporation. We'll see if they can adjust their draft, maybe their play style a little bit, and try and bring us to a game three. That's what we would all love to see, right?
Certainly, and game number three would be nice, especially if you are a Kappa Corporation fan. Now, there is some playoffs. Obviously, this is playoffs, so playoffs implications. It's interesting, right? In Serpent's Ascension League, our playoffs are formatted to where the lowest seed faces the highest seed at every single point. Now, there's only two stages where that applies, but regardless, it's a pretty important thing. So I'm excited, right, for that. It means that this game for either of these teams could mean that they're either playing, Warriors of Albion, our 5-0 team, or Gunshow Shoguns. They're not 5-0 counterpart that got the bye in the second seed.
Yeah, if they take this win, they end up going up against. I'm sorry, you said who will they be facing?
They could face either of these teams depending on who wins the matchup above this one.
Ah, of course,
Competition
interesting.
Warriors of Albion. Yeah,
Yes,
it does create for a very interesting kind of diagram. I mean, you don't exactly know who you're playing, so you got to prepare for two teams.
that's pretty dynamic way to set it up. The playoffs. That's exciting.
Yeah. Now, if you're Warriors of Albion, you are only preparing for Valhalla Vikings. You cannot face anyone else. So Warriors of Albion, their path is obvious. They, if they were to win, right, which they very well could, if they were to win their set, Valhalla Vikings would be waiting for them, and that means the winner of this would face Gunshow Shoguns. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's see how that plays out. Although, let's focus back on this game, right? We saw with this game, not only did we see, you mentioned, a pretty front to back dominant victory for BNO, but we also saw some key players do a lot of great things. Mainly Shaman, right? With this Fenrir just tore everyone. And I really, really like that. Are there any other picks that you'd think would be good for him?
For the Fenrir player, I mean, I assume if you can play Fenrir, you can play most of the traditional junglers. You're looking at Thor, potentially Hunbats. We saw a lot of junglers banned out. It was something like Daji, Kali, off the top of my head. And so I expect this player Shaman has a couple more picks in the pocket ready for this matchup. Speaking of star players, we saw Germania on the Morgan Le Fay. Pretty dominant performance over in solo lane. I don't know what their god pool's looking like, but I expect to see more out of them in match two.
Certainly do expect it. Now, we are going to find out what they are playing in game number two. Lem, you mentioned at the end of game number one, Bolt Bands. They're right below us, right? Down here, right?
Perfect.
I got it. I was able to figure it out. Thor being fan of Kappa Corp. But they're grayed out on your screen. You may be wondering, oh, what does that exactly mean? Well, Smite 2 Esports has taken a new direction. Vault bans. Now, if you play a god, you can't play it again. So those 10 gods, including that Morgan Le Fay that Germania ran the lobby on, and that ever so present Fenrir that Shaman took over the late game with, not around. Can't play them. Though Kappa Corp, they are changing bans in favor of that. Realizing, okay, well, there are picks that are now better because X, Y, and Z are gone. Mordred, seeming a lot better to Kappa Corp, and Thor, Daji, and Alposh, all remaining banned as well as Daji.
I respect this Mordred ban. Mordred is a lane bully, and if you had problems in your solo lane, you don't want to have them having to face a Mordred in the solo lane. He's super dominant early game. He's got great rotation potential with the ult. Can be really hard to lock down and deal with. He's super slippery. Kali banned once again as well. Love the bans coming out from both teams, and BNO will take out that Horus. Kappa Corp, last game, were second pick. They banned it. We're potentially looking to pick it here, and BNO recognizing that, take out the Horus, eliminate that option.
Agni, though, he walked in and Sparky, realizing that a little more early game presence in this Agni. Noxious fumes and flame wave, and realistically everything, able to do anything and everything they want, but I see that Achilles being hovered, and after you experienced a solo laner take over the game on a Morgan Le Fay, I think Achilles just might be a tad bit scarier.
Yeah, Achilles can flex into multiple roles, but obviously solo lane the most prevalent. A front line that brings an execute to the table is always going to be a strong pick. He's also got a great stun, bit of mobility with the dash as well, self-healing. Very great toolkit for a solo laner as they pick up Princess Bari as well, another god that can potentially flex into multiple roles. But we will likely see that go into mid.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Last time that I had seen Red Rosie Panda cast, she did or play. She also pulled out this Princess Bari, so I do like it. Right, not something that we've seen too often in mid, and definitely not going forward. But if anyone can pilot, it's Red Rosie Panda who saw Paul play it for however long, and Spike Prime. Although Thanatos and Kerberos now being picked up for Kappa Corp.
I like Kappa Corp's draft adjustment. They're looking towards more of that early game pressure. Thanatos, obviously one of the premier junglers that snowballs, brings an execute to the table, much like the Achilles. Cerberus, a great pick that was banned last game, and we will see it picked up now for BNO, locking in Cupid and Charon for their duo lane.
Yeah, I really like this. Cupid, a very safe character, has the dash. There's the Fields of Love, able to do everything. But Charon, silence, long range poke, and I've definitely seen it always picked into this Kerberos.
Yeah, Charon's got a great matchup into Cerberus. You can interrupt his breath from range very easily. Charon, honestly, just a bit of a slept-on pick in support. He does a lot of damage. A lot of supports that play Charon will go the Bluestone. They'll pick up Soul Reaver at some point in their build so they can go more of a bruiser-oriented playstyle. Kappa Corp locking in Sun Wukong and Honor. Absolutely love the draft on the order side.
Yeah, I do really, really like it. Sun Wukong, a very safe solo laner. So if something were to play better than play into the Achilles better, Sun Wukong would be it. But on her, a lane bully, and can really do whatever he wants half this time. I mean, it's looking really nasty. But Hun Bats being locked in.
BNO have a great team comp, but we're seeing a bit of a transition from what they did last game. Now Kappa Corp have the edge in the early game. BNO's comp is going to have some phenomenal scaling. Their team fight is disgusting. Look how many AoE ultimates they have on top of the Achilles. It's going to be really hard for Kappa Corp to figure out who to target, and with all of these circles going around, there's just going to be a lot of damage they have to avoid. But I got to say, I love the adjustment from KC to pick up this early game Thanatos, as well as gods like Anhur and Agni, who are really safe, but also bring a ton of pressure.
Yeah, I do really, really like it. But we are going to figure out any and all questions we might have had about anything in game number 2. Boys Night Out. They have a 1 next to their name. That means they won game number 1. Although the casters haven't changed. It's Cinnilyn, Lem, and Rye in the sky. Kappa Corp now order side, this new and aggressive composition. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, both junglers had a bit of a brawl in the early game. I expect to see something similar. However, Shaman, last game was on the Fenrir, who's pretty dominant in the early stages. Now is playing Hunbats, who relies on getting a little bit more farm, having the ultimate available as they look for another cheeky invade. They tried to do this last game over on the solo side, looking for a pick in the bush, and now they're doing it once again. I love this play because you never know if somebody's going to step up. Maybe you can catch them lacking and get a cheeky first blood.
Yeah, especially with this Hunbats aspect, right? Stun bats, as we've so aspect of direct disruption, or stun bats, as we've so lovingly referred to it as, able to just stun someone for a good amount of time, and just able to do so much damage. But Shaman, just in this jungle, and Kappa Corp not looking forward to it, although this bush now being checked, and oh my gosh, Heart Bomb coming through, but there's the impale on Shaman. That's just going to be the poke and nothing else, but Bear's entering this lane at bit lower health than Feisty.
I will say that's kind of an unfortunate play if you're BNO, because Shaman now had to level his 2 to get the stun there. Not going to be the ideal clear. Typically on Hunbats, you want to start your 3, especially on stun bats, because your 2 loses a lot of its damage. It gets a longer cooldown. And so at level 1, it's more optimal. It's faster clear to start your 3. So he's going to have a harder time clearing this first rotation of camps.
Yeah. Boys Night Out, though. Pressure, they have it in spades. Wave clear, although not on the side of Kappa Corp, but that fight damage in this duo lane, it's going to be insane. Impale on Darth Dumbledore. There's that blue stone. Start items looking pretty normal. Gerbear is just holding his own, not getting too poked out. Kappa Corp looking to take control of this game after a very unfortunate game one.
Yeah, BNO hit level 2 there. Maybe looking to get aggressive, but Capricorn were able to take down the minion, and they're going to be just fine now. The junglers actually did different starts this game. So Hunbat starting over on the speed side is going to be rotating over, pathing towards red secondarily, but Thanatos started the traditional way where you go from Scorpion to red and over towards duo. So to me, that reflects that potentially Hunbats wants to play for maybe an early solo gank rather than duo side, which we've seen is traditionally the play.
Yeah, certainly. I really do like it. I mean, offsetting, right? Knowing that Shaman doesn't have as well of a fight as the counterpart, right, has Daddy Reki able to just fight him out, push him out, and everything. It's good awareness by Shaman to say, I don't win that fight. I can realistically never win that fight unless my mid laner rotates over. So why try? Now, we are having some technical difficulties on the player side. So we are just going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the action. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Should be a short break. Kappa Corp Boys Night Out, still right up there. Lem and myself, Cinnilyn, still right here and right. Don't worry, still in the sky. Didn't miss much. The pause went smoothly. Everyone, all back in place. But this dual lane not going the best for Boys Night Out. Neutrals being taken by Gerbears and Storm and Koopa, but they are able to follow on this blue buff.
And we mentioned before the technical difficulties, the differences in the starts for the junglers. It looks like because of that slow beginning for the Hanbats, where he had to start as 2, he was actually a little bit late to his buff because of that invade on the purple as well. The Kappa Corp was able to take Oracles, and BNO not even yet looking at the mid camp, potentially going for it now, and this is where we're going to see our first fight of the game.
Yeah, purple buff being taken. Zaddy with the blink in on Rosie. Sparky taking the kill. And Shaman looking at Sparky himself. But no, the monkey has to run back into tower. But he egressed. But Flame Dash finds it. Kappa Corp now trying to find something in the dual lane wave. Coming forward. Dumbledore looking for something. But the gank from Kappa Corp on this Germania. Able to dash out, combat dodge coming through, but a leap. There's the stun. Big Zaddy Reki falls, and that's just a really elongated 1-for-1.
Yeah, and to be honest, you don't hate to see it because Kappa Corp, with their early pressure, was able to pick up first blood. I like the play to try and ride City over solo, maybe get a second kill, because Thanatos loves to have an early lead. And so potentially trying to put some pressure where they had a bit of a weak side last game. Of course, Wukong is a much safer pick, as we have a
solo
that was interesting, and another
Rocks.
kill over at Rocks.
Yeah, wild. 2-1, Kappa Corp.
Yeah, I got a little bit
lead.
confused by what was going over on in duo lane. It almost looked like there was maybe a little bit of lag for a moment there, but they figured it out, and the game has been paused.
Well, they're going to go back to figuring it out. Maybe not fully. Technical issues. We do want our players playing at the best of their abilities. So I do really like this, right? You gotta play at your best, and sometimes work your way through technical issues. It's surely no worry, though. We're going through this, though, and Zaddy Reki, you mentioned Thanatos wants an early lead, and he's definitely doing everything in his power to obtain it.
Yeah, already got another kill. They managed to take down, I think it was the mid laner at the purple camp on the neutral, and that kill went to their own mid laner for Kappa Corp. And then at Rocks, Thanatos was actually able to pick up a solo kill onto Hanbats, which you love to see. If you're the jungler and you can solo kill the other guy and get the neutral camp, you're feeling really happy.
Yeah. Zaddy Reki, I mean, he was not in the driver's seat for game 1. And he said, all right, well, this is my car and I'm driving my car. And he's going to be driving it to a victory. Although, I have to take another quick break. Technical difficulties all abound for these teams. So don't go anywhere. Hopefully it'll be as quick as last time. We'll see you real soon.
Will you go down to the station and get me a ticket on the 11 o'clock?
Welcome back. I told you to be short. Lem, Sin, and Rai still all in the sky, sorta. I'm not really sure how that works. But 2-1, Kappa Corp in somewhat of a lead. Sergeant Sparky on this Agni pick, and it's looking a lot better than Merlin did, especially in this early game.
You gotta love this matchup if you're the Agni, because Bari doesn't really have a whole lot of agency in terms of fighting you. You've got the dash, you've got a range stun, a lot of range with your ultimate as well. So Bari can't really step up to you in a way that threatens you. You're feeling pretty safe if you're Sergeant Sparky here. But I will say, the junglers have a... Oh?
going for the solo kill, but the Spirit's not exactly ringing the bells for Sparky. Instead, just going to provide some damage. Kappa Corp, Boys Night Out, not gaining anything, just a trade of some ultimates.
I was almost wondering if I was just about to eat my words as I was talking about how Bari can't really fight the Agni. Uh-oh.
And it looks like, Fear No Evil off the mark. Sergeant Sparky with a stun. Beads coming out.
Beads.
The rain of fire forward. Flame Dash not up for much longer, but Monkey Toss coming through. But the Flame Dash is better. Zaddy Reki, he's in the sky. No, not able to find anyone backing. Just able to leave.
Yeah, Agni with those 2 cooldown rings got 2 dashes off there. And that's what we were just talking about with the safety of this Agni pick. He's got the dash, manages to escape not only the Bari ult, but also the Hunbat's ult. And Thanatos now looking for a neutral camp. Bari maybe thought about contesting it, but opted not to. Probably a smart call. As duo lane, potentially looking towards a neutral of their own.
Yeah, I really like this for them. Purple buff now being hit. An extra purple buff can definitely make the difference, especially when you're like someone like Cerberus, but Fields of Love being used, not able to secure the purple buff, but definitely dissuading any possible fights. Kappa Corp getting the better of it. Gerbears scaling up, and this aggression working out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You love to see the fight back if you're a Kappa Corp fan. They're up 1,000 gold in the first 6 minutes of this game, which is negligible, but it does indicate that they know they have the pressure and they're looking to force fights while they have the lead. Now, we mentioned the Bari, we mentioned the Agni. The jungle matchup is interesting as well, but solo lane, Sun Wukong versus Achilles, it's going to be really hard for either of them to kill each other in a one-on-one. Hunbat's looking to rotate over and potentially make something happen.
Full form, and there's that stun, overhead smash, smashing I'm new and learning into the ground.
Yeah, good play if you're Shaman, looking over to the lane that got ahead last game and was able to have a huge impact on the map, trying to put Germania ahead once again. They were able to kill Wukong before he got up into that ult, which is devastating if you're I'm new and learning, because that's the main reason you pick the Wukong. He's extremely safe. He's got the CC immune ult, goes up into the sky and heals. Uh-oh.
Don's damage, plenty. Barosi saving the support. Darth Dumbledore not able to be saved by the Spirit's cadence that much longer. Noxious fumes stunning out Rosie, but she's smelling it, not falling.
Last game was a little bit slow in the early. Aside from those few solo kills we saw at the beginning, you're seeing a lot more scuffles happening as Thanatos going to the air. For a moment, I thought he was looking for a potential tower dive, but instead maybe going for an invade on these back camps.
Yeah, thinking the better of it, right? Mid laner maybe just saying, well, we don't have eyes on the jungler, this, that, this. I really do like it for this Kappa Corp team. Zaddy Reki, ever present on the map, and although Thanatos can get off to an early lead in snowball games, what is really big is this map presence. Shaman, though, making his map presence known, potentially just spotted out. No, Gerbears, none the wiser. Fear no evil. Fields of love being used, and there's no desert's fury to be found. Feisty taking up the kill.
What a combo. And Anhur did have the purification beads up. Elects to save it for the time being. But that's a really hard gank to escape. And you've got Hunbats, you've got Cupid with the Fields of Love. So put him into a really hard spot. Maybe he was just caught off guard and surprised. It can make it hard sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, this mid lane matchup going very well, though. But here's the overhead smash. Bang goes Sparky, but not able to fall. But Stygian Torment forcing out the beads from Shaman. Boys Night Out with a pretty equal trade. Something we weren't able to touch on last game was this Moonlight phase, right? It's ending really soon for Kappa Corp. Boys Night Out got really close to that 75 shard mark. Now, both teams, as they reach it, Germania with the solo kill and I'm new and learning. Lane pushers now for both sides. Incoming. That's one of the newer changes that happened in these patches, but Spirit's cadence coming down in mid. There's the marker. Zaddy Reki finds one on Rosie. Scythe off the mark. And these pushers able to be, well, pushed out by Sergeant Sparky when he comes into the lane.
This is an absolute brawl. Fights breaking out all around the map. A dead even game, 4-4, 26k to 26k at 9 minutes. Talk to me about how Kappa Corp can look to play around this early game pressure and maybe force a bit more of a lead as they segue into the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, they can do a few things, right? They can talk around, walk around this Gold Fury, right? You don't have the best to secure if you're really either team. So flipping it could be advantageous for both teams. Fights, right? We're even. It's 4-4, 10 minutes in, and only about 100 gold separating these two teams. So they're all looking pretty good.
Yeah, if I'm Thanatos, I want to gank this duo lane as much as possible. We saw Hunbats come over here and get a kill onto On Her. Cupid actually a little bit less safe than the On Her, as we see potentially just that. Thanatos decides maybe he's just going to drop a ward and potentially come back at a later date. On Her's got the lane pressure, and he's feeling pretty safe. So Thanatos is just going to go back to farming. We did see a solo kill come out in solo lane. Achilles was able to find another pick after that first gank, had a lead, and is now 2 levels up over the Wukong. Once again, Germania coming up big for his team and putting a lot of pressure out over on this side.
Yeah, I mean, a fake 2 levels, right? Now cut down to 1 level of this XP bars, call it 1.5, but nonetheless, Germania going large in this game once again. 1-0-2 compared to his counterpart 0-2-0. I like it. But Zaddy Reki, 2-1-1 matching on both junglers, now making something happen. The Scythe missing, no auto attack cancels, but the rain fire coming through, 3 bolts, and Gerbears has to be careful. Pillar, no disperse, but Impale could come through. Monkey toss off the mark, but Zaddy Reki, he's in the rafters, coming through. Fields of Love works on it, but a killing spree for the Thanatos and stuns plenty, but a good sight that forces Feisty with the inability to get this kill. He has to dive under a tier 2, and he's thinking he's not going to. Instead, a purple buff for his prize.
Yeah, and in the meantime, a fight broke out in mid. They were actually, the BNO team was able to take down Storm Koopa, as Germania potentially trying to find another one of his own. Agni rotating in to help out his teammate. Love to see mid laners rotating into the side lanes. I think that's a great play. In the end, just comes over and catches the farm. So you're not too unhappy if you are Sergeant Sparky. You didn't miss out on too much time. In the meantime, in mid, Cerberus catches the mid wave, and Wukong escapes with his life. So good plays all around from Kappa Corp as we see a potential Gold Fury pull from BNO.
Seems like it's going unnoticed by Kappa Corp. No words, no nothing. Desert's Fury, not up. So even if it might have been known about, Kappa Corp really don't have anything to steal it. And Rosie getting the kill. Feisty returning to his own purple buff. A little bit of lead being developed for this Boys Night Out team, although Zaddy Reki looking to stop it, go up in the air. Spirit's Cadence isn't up yet, but the Agni takes one. Zaddy takes the other. It's split. There's the leap from the Hunbats, but not able to find anything else. You might have gotten the Gold Fury, but Kappa Corp takes 2.
That was a phenomenal Gold Fury pull by BNO, recognizing that the mid laner had rotated out to solo lane. They had great vision down as well. So knowing that they had at the least a numbers advantage, we're able to pull that and sneak it away, as Kappa Corp now trying to sneak an objective of their own.
Yeah, Pyromancer being pulled, although it's not so sneaky. Shaman, very aware of it. But the blink forcing the overhead smash, Sacred Monkey toss, and that's nothing else. Although they do get some ultimates, the ultimate prize of the Pyromancer goes to Kappa Corp.
Great trade if you're KC. They know that the enemy team had to reset after that Gold Fury, so they're able to pick up an objective of their own. The first Gold Fury is really important because you get that move speed out of Fountain. That buff is essential for the rest of the game, going to help you farm, as we have a bit of an engage going around rocks.
Yeah, this isn't good if you're Zaddy Reki. The ultimate being missed by Germania. Good juke shoes, but the blue stone coming through from Red Rosie Panda. I absolutely adore that play.
Yeah, that was close. Almost escaped, did Zaddy Reki. But, like you mentioned, it was either the blue stone or the red buff. Some kind of tick damage there, was able to finish off the kill. Just barely not escaping with his life is the Thanatos. But, yeah, these rock engagements are going to be really hard for KC to take, because when your solo laner is down, you don't have wave pressure over there. You really don't want to look towards neutral camps on this side of the map. When I'm jungling, I try to focus on the winning lanes. We see Cupid about to take a tower and potentially get a solo kill as a mid fight breaks out as well. I don't know. Craziness happen all over the place.
Your Bears able to defend this tower in Capricorn, able to run away. River Styx not enough as used previously, but Fear No Evil from Shaman coming out and not finding any kills, although allowing your mid laner to relieve some of that pressure as a 2-level lead has been mounted in this mid lane of the Kappa Corp. So I think that play was a bit worth it.
I like the builds coming out from both junglers, looking very similar. Hydras into the Jotuns, a lot of cooldown, a lot of damage involved. Thanatos opting to go for what looks like an upgraded Blink. I imagine that's going to be the Blinking Abyss. That way he can get a second relic and avoid any potential CC coming out from the enemy team. Naga now going to be the focus point as both teams are rotating around this objective, trying to feel it out.
Yeah, it's being pulled. Kappa Corp. Attempting to pull a tiny bit, just dealing a little bit of damage. But River Styx being pulled out. That's a really good ultimate to get if you are Kappa Corp. The global steel presence, the movement speed it brings, no longer. But Ritual Sight unlocking in 30 seconds, and both teams not having their eyes set on this ritual, on this Moonlight Queen.
Yeah, they got plenty of time to play the map. You know, BNO with a small 1k lead. Their team fight is extremely strong, as we mentioned. But Kappa Corp, I think around this Naga, if they were to look for a play, they need to be careful. As
Ooh, really good, but the auto attack cancels from Shaman. Looking really good. Zadireki able to just go ahead and get out, but Feisty taking a solo kill in left lane. Although Rainfire not enough, Stygian Torment might be. Otto's not finding it. Spirit's Cadence is better. Flame Dash, the ticking down. Sergeant Sparky gets the kill. Meanwhile, Boys Night Out, eyes set on the Moonlight Queen. It goes low, low, and it's looking to be gone.
yeah, great play by Shaman, forcing out the enemy Thanatos. And on top of that, across the map, Cupid gets a pick. He's already taken that tower. Cupid dominating this lane over on the duo side, up 2-0 over the Thanatos with a 3-level lead. If you're BNO, you're feeling really strong around this duo side. I like the play by Achilles to rotate out. They know Gold Fury's up. They're looking for objectives. This is a great time to fight where you're strong, and they're certainly strong in the duo.
Yeah, no noxious fumes for Sparky. So Germania on him was a bit scarier than normal. Although, just able to walk away. Darth Dumbledore, now present in the mid lane. Neither team
Whoa.
wanted. But a
Sneaky
Gold Fury
pull.
And the Kappa Corp now zoning. I really like this. It's falling low. Not falling faster than you'd like. But the Achilles has the execute possible. Noxious fumes being used. But Zadireki in the sky and making the Achilles chase after him. This Gold Fury, all meanwhile being burnt down. Overhead smash, blinking abyss. Oh my gosh, the execute, not finding anything.
Still pulling it.
Can get the steal,
Nice,
but
they got
no. Kappa Corp is securing it with one singular spear from Gerbears, but the dive is here. Overhead smash, beads being forced. Shaman takes the kill, and they're looking for another alone three-headed dog in the face. But here is Zadireki and Storm Cooper. And I'm new in learning. But there is Sparky getting all the kills. Spirit's Cadence ringing the bells. But Zadireki is low, a double kill. And it's just Dumbledore and Feisty. Feisty sucking up all the farm that he can. And Sergeant Sparky continuing on. No, he falls out. But Darth Dumbledore, and I'm new in learning, might just have everything they need. No, the Charon. Dumbledore able to survive, but Feisty maybe looking for a hero play, a triple possibility, but no. Dash is out, saying, I'm 2-0, I gotta protect that.
Wow, what an incredible play by Kappa Corp, pulling the Gold Fury and then committing on it in the middle of a team fight and then securing it in the end. I'm very impressed. They also managed to take up 3 kills, equalizing the game for the most part. Still a small lead on the side of BNO, but you're feeling really good about that if you're Kappa Corp. I will say, in the meantime, Feisty was over in solo lane, catching waves, took down the tower, and the ADC Cupid grows ever stronger. He's still holding a 3-level lead over the Sonher. If he can make it into the next couple of fights, I expect it will be much more difficult for KC to find plays like that.
Yeah, 19 is now this Cupid. Approaching 4 items, and one of those being Titan's Bane. If I'm new and learning, I'm just like shuddering, shaking in my boots, looking at this Cupid tick up closer and closer to 20. Because I know once he's in my face, I'm going to get absolutely shredded. But for now, contained in his little lanes, just taking out towers. But Zaddy Reki looking for a kill. Shaman being hit with the Sice auto, another sweep, and going up into the hovering death. Bang! Shaman falls. Rain of fire coming through. Spirit's cadence using for its damage. No heal, but beads being forced from Rosie. And instead, Darth Dumbledore now being eyed by Kappa Corp. Here's I'm new and learning, rotating in the Monkey King, looking to make something happen. But no, Germania now on the back line, all in his glory. But instead being stunned out. And here's Gerbears coming in, but no, the fight not happening. Kappa Corp just able to leave.
Now, while this Cupid has a massive lead over in duo, the Agni also has a pretty massive lead in mid, up 4-0 and 3 levels over the Bari. This is where you want to play around if you're Kappa Corp. Look towards fights in this mid lane, and they are.
Yeah, Germania getting the kill on Zaddy Reki through Fields of Love. There's the ultimate Sparky, able to secure the Pyromancer in the face of a soul laner. Germania, though, running him down ever present. And Sergeant Sparky, Storm Koopa, having to fall. I'm new and learning, now running away. It's 12-12. It's even. But boys' night out, they're looking to capitalize on a fire giant.
Yeah, this is a great pull. I will say, KC have some potential agency to look for a defense, but it doesn't look like they want to. They're going to farm the map. It's going to be a free FG for BNO. Now, if you're Kappa Corp, you got to think about how you're going to respond. The enemy team has Fire Giant. You're not down that much. You still have a pretty good fight. Agni has no choice but to run away from the Achilles here. Not sure who the Pyromancer went to in the end. Looks like it was Kappa Corp. Otherwise, I expect Achilles would be taking that Runic Bomb. But potentially looking to siege down mid. Karen on the way. Agni no dash. He's out. He's fine.
He's good. Never in any threat. But Kappa Corp, 5 strong, 2k down now, or 1k more so. T1 being defended, although it looks to be pretty soft, but Zaddy Reki having to use the hovering death, fear no evil being used. He's looking to go back in, though. Oh my gosh, Shaman!
Wow.
He falls the reset, and there is the execute, but it's not going to be claimed. Instead, you have the cube execute.
A 1-for-1's not the end of the world if you're Kappa Corp. You're kind of happy with to trade your jungler for the enemy Hunbats. Takes away a lot of their team fight. He did get that Fear No Evil out. It was a pretty high value ult. I think he had 3 targets. Forced the Thanatos into the sky as well. BNO, with their Fire Giant, just potentially looking to increase their lead and take this Gold Fury.
I'm new and learning, taking advantage of how subtle he can be. Fields of Love being used. Feisty, able to secure this Fire Giant. And Tiger being used. Spirit's Cadence used for damage. But it's not going to be enough. Instead, Storm Koopa now might be stuck. But no, I'm new and learning. Leaving away, and so is the Kerberos. Boys' night out. Fire Giant, Gold Fury in their pockets. It's 13-13 in a relatively even game.
Yeah, now we talked about builds a little bit last game. There were some interesting pickups from the support, and we're seeing another interesting pickup in this Mystical Mail from Cerberus. This item did see a buff relatively recently, and I expect Cerberus picked it up with the idea that it could potentially stop some of the shields coming out from BNO. They've got not only the Charon, but of course Achilles has a large physical shield as well, which that'll help to mitigate. Mystical Mail, just an obnoxious item for a frontline to have, because while you're sitting in the enemy's face, you're constantly ticking them down. It can add up to doing a lot of damage over the course of a fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been times where I've just looked as an ADC trying to burn down an unkillable soul laner, and I'm like, I took 500 damage from Mystical Mail. I didn't feel like there was a thing I could do. But Zaddy Reki, not having a thing he can do in this fight. No, Hovering Death able to be used. Shaman falling down, the god of death. Even better is the Mayan god of monkeys. I think that on bats.
Yeah, the The BNO team still has Fire Giant for 70 seconds, so they're looking to siege as much as they can. They have a pick onto the enemy jungler, as well as a couple ults still available. Honor forced to leap away, and they will get this T2 pretty much free.
Yeah, Desert's Fury and Stygian Torrent both being used, as well as the Sun Wukong ultimate, but oh my god, he just got deleted. Rampage is Sparky, and the River of Styx finding two. Bears a double for Feisty, leading the charge. Germania, and falling down low. Oh, Sergeant Sparky able to kill Shaman. Storm Koopa is going forward. This dual lane Phoenix going low. A Rampage. It's a 1 for 3, but Hovering Death is used. Instead, not committed, but Feisty, you have to be careful. There is nothing. The auto attacks, no, unstoppable. It can't take the God of Death. Instead, love is spread all over.
Wow. For a second, I was shocked because BNO left their Cupid in the dust. He was all by his lonesome to fight against this Thanatos. Fortunately, he is 3 levels up on the enemy jungler, so didn't end up having any problems saving himself. But for a moment there, it looked like the Kappa Corp were going to get a pick where they had no business doing so.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really close. Feisty, though, beads and just the amount of the 3-level lead he has on Zadireki, able to make the difference. Boys Night Out, although it was looking pretty even. Now, all said and done at the end of this Fire Giant, it's a 6k gold lead for Boys Night Out. It's just been going down and down and down. Kappa Corp in a good position, though, only losing 1 tower. Now, that tower was at the cost of a Phoenix, and the worst Phoenix to lose, the left side, because Fire Giant on the other side of the map. But could have been worse. Could have been a tower sweep. Then Boys Night Out would have had more pressure on this Fire Giant. Instead, that isn't happening. Kappa Corp definitely still in this game.
It could always be worse. Your Titan's not dead yet. There's plenty of smite left to be played. That was a great first Fire Giant by BNO, though. They take the Gold Fury, they take the towers in left, as well as a Phoenix, and extend their lead from what was a small gold lead into a pretty major deficit now for Kappa Corp. They're already looking to group around this next Fire Giant. I love this play because Anhur has to push up those fire waves in left, and they know they have a numbers advantage, potentially looking for a fight in mid.
Yeah, Germania leading the charge and Feisty at the tail end of it, but looks like they're just going to force people out. Boys Night Out just going to regroup around this Fire Giant, force people out. All meanwhile, as you mentioned, Gerber's pushing up that left lane, but a brutal time for this Fire Giant to spawn, being the pushers. And that's just that little bit of extra time you have to push in this lane. And since we see multiple people on these pushers, you just have to go ahead, pull this Fire Giant. It's coming down. 7k Kappa Corp. Not present with that many stealing opportunities, but Hovering Death being used and going forward, but a good bait. Shaman able to leave, and the Fire Giant regenning it. It was dropped by Boys Night Out. Bears in this left lane, trying to take down this tier 1, pushing out as far as he can. And Boys Night Out just going back on this Fire Giant, this time with 1 less ultimate.
Yeah, Anhur's still pushing down left lane. BNO know they have the numbers advantage. Hunbat, looking to get a little bit aggressive, trying to zone out the enemy with his frontliner. Like you mentioned.
Oh, Bears gets the fire. No, Feisty gets the Fire Giant. Bears gets the tower. And I'm new and learning is deep in there. Dagger in on Feisty. The fight's not too good. You don't have your Agni in the River of Styx. Getting I'm new and learning double for Shaman. Bears finally, no, not backing just yet. Storm Koopa and Zadireki spawned. They're looking powerful, but Boys Night Out charging down this right lane.
At the end of the day, it is a decent play by Anhur to have to look for this tier 2, soak up as much farm as he can, but it's unfortunate that 2 of his teammates die in the defense of the Fire Giant. They weren't able to steal it away. BNO, with their 2 picks, are just going to take a tier 2 tower back and potentially spend their money and look for this Ancient Fury. I think they could have tried to go for a bird, but in Smite, oftentimes, there's a good call and there's a safe call. And sometimes, the safe call actually ends up being better because there's no risk involved. If you don't execute perfectly, you can slip up, you can make a mistake, and give the enemy team some leeway back into the game. You have a 5k lead, you've got the Fire Giant. Let's just take this at our own pace, get the Ancient Fury, make everything as easy as possible.
Yeah, I oftentimes, right, in my comp experience, I tell my team, let's play clinical. There's no need to rush. There's no need to try and do what we can't. Take our control and just make this game ours. And Boys Night Out have been making this game theirs with amazing objective control. 3 Gold Furies to 1, Ancient Fury on 2 Phoenixes, and Kappa Corp, they have a rough defense ahead of them.
Yeah, they do have a pretty decent comp with the Agni. Got a lot of range damage. Uh-oh.
Fear no evil, River of Sticks charged up, but it's not needed. Unstoppable is Shaman. And poke from the Charon coming through. Sergeant Sparky has his hands full with no pairing, no rain of fire, fields of love being used. And Storm Koopa going forward. This defense is getting a bit messy. Phoenix falling, Shaman getting Zaddy Reki. And it's just the 3, but good damage on Shaman, preventing what looks to be any deeper, especially going in this Titan room. But I'm new in learning. You're going in too deep. There's an ADC, a stun, bang! Shaman gets that double.
Now with 3 picks, BNO still 5 strong, looking to siege down mid lane. If they can take down the Agni, they have a good chance of fighting the Titan with not much defense left, because Gerbears, while spawning, is only single target damage, not going to be able to stop the enemy swarm from fighting this Titan. It's going to be interesting if they're able to pull off this defense. Storm Koopa doesn't have that ult available, but it's coming back up soon. Looks like BNO sticking with their principles. They're just going to play safe, sweep the birds, and continue looking for picks from there.
Yeah, Fire Giant. Dagger not used, but oh my gosh, Storm Koopa jumping forward, but Fear no evil being used, causing Sergeant Sparky to go in. Stygian Torment on 2, but not on enough. There's no jump. There is, but it's only delayed. Fatal strike. It's fatal for the Guardian of Hell. But Zaddy Reki able to go deep, but Spirit's Cadence, the bell is rung, but it's rung for the other god of death. And going forward, Gerbears with a lot of damage, warding off Boys Night Out. It's a 5v3, but Jesus. Gerbears pushing him off.
Yeah, they're playing safe. I like the calls here from BNO. You know, they're not overextending. They're making sure they keep all of the tempo in their control. Fire Giant spawning in 70 seconds. They're going to back up. They already swept all the birds. They're going to take this Pyromancer as a consolation prize. Now, I will say, one downside of playing in this manner is that you kind of allow the enemy team some leeway where they can potentially farm up their items. Now that the waves are pushing into their Titan room, they don't have to go very far to get that golden XP and potentially catch back up. They're down quite a bit, but as you get later and later into the match, you can only build so many items. And so once we reach these full builds, Kappa Corp are going to have potentially one more chance on this next defense to come back into the game.
Yeah, Kappa Corp. It's 32-40, right? 20 seconds. EFG is spawning. It's going to be in time for this Fire Giant to spawn. So no matter what, this Fire Giant will be enhanced. Boys Night Out looking to set up, take the final nail in the coffin. It's going dark, ending our 3rd Moonlight phase. Mentioned 3 Phoenixes down. Kappa Corp now very uncomfortably in this territory. What are some ways that Kappa Corp can get out of it?
They're going to need a real Hail Mary. Agni was thinking the same thing, potentially going for a steal, but Achilles quickly sniffs it out and zones him away. If they don't steal this EFG, it's all but curtains for Kappa Corp, and there's not much they can do to fight for it. They're forced to defend their base, and BNO will take the Fire Giant for free. Now, It's Enhanced Fire Giant, which of course gives them extra strength, extra regen, as you mentioned, and it shreds those backdoor protections. So if they can get onto this Titan with all of their ultimates, pretty much all they need to do is DPS it, and it's good game.
Good games, good night, and good riddance for the season on Kappa Corp. Boys Night Out looking to take Kappa Corp out. 5 strong in the Titan room for both teams. Boys Night Out. You think they're looking for a Titan defense? No, they are not. Gerbears has to fall down. Boys Night Out looking to punch their ticket into the semifinals. It's Low Rosie kills the Order Titan. Boys Night Out take it with a 2-0 victory.
What a clean game by BNO. Perfectly executed. They built their lead piece by piece, gradually increasing their gold lead and then taking objectives. I will say at the end there, KC were all alive as their Titan died. All 5 members were still alive at the end of the game. So I think they need to do a little bit more to try and get aggressive. There's not much they can do. It's a pretty hopeless position, I'll say, because they're down so much gold. The enemy team has the EFG. They've got all these AoE ultimates. We need to get a little bit more aggressive. We're playing our Fountain. The Titans got 10k health and not a whole lot of prots. So you need to get on them before they get on the Titan. Unfortunately, weren't able to make it happen. And BNO take game 2.
Yeah, BNO. I mean, everyone looked like they were playing hot, especially feisty. 806 Shaman staying hot from last game. These two teams looking really, really good. But that's going to be all for us. Unfortunately, it is also going to be all for Kappa Corporation. Boys Night Out. Better be celebrating tonight, though. They're clinched in for semifinals. That's got to be exciting. Both these teams fought valiantly, but you want to give some thanks. Shout out all the players, especially everyone on Kappa Corp. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, not going to be seeing them again. Boys Night Out, we will be seeing them again. But thank you to all 10 players in this game. Lem, I want to give a thank you. Shout out to you coming on, casting for us. We appreciate it. Ryan the Sky. Also, much love to them. And finally, thank all of you who've been watching, supporting us. It means a lot, and I hope you support us further on to this playoffs. But unfortunately, not going to have any more action for you tonight. That's going to be all. So, good night and goodbye, everyone.